After 20 years in the military, I've learned that success doesn't come from how hard you work, it comes from the things that we tend to ignore. And trust me, I ignored all of the wrong things: my health, boundaries, and ultimately myself. Today, I'm talking about the 3 biggest mistakes that I made in my career so you can learn from them and don't make the same mistakes. If you've ever poured everything into your work and felt like there was nothing left at the end of the day, then this video is for you. I spent years chasing achievement, thinking that if I worked harder, sacrificed more, and ultimately stayed quiet and did what I thought I needed to do, that I would be successful and I'd be happy. I was dead wrong. Let's break down the 3 things that nearly broke me and what I would change if I could go back. The first mistake I did was not taking care of my physical health and my mental health. I ignored the things that were going on inside my head and going on with my body for over a decade, and I nearly broke. I remember when I was a senior chief, I walked into my CMC's office and I told him, hey, if I don't get fixed, if I don't pay attention to this, I'm gonna break. I can't keep going. It was a scary moment because I had never asked for help in almost 15 years. I've got heavy anxiety, I get panic attacks, I have depression, and I have fibromyalgia. If you don't know what fibromyalgia is, it's like being hit by a car randomly and then going from 0, hey, I'm fine, and then 5 minutes later, boom, you feel like you get hit by a car and you're absolutely wrecked. It's terrible. There's no cure. But enough about that. I didn't address any of these concerns ever. I was too committed. I wanted to be mission oriented, and I thought that's what success looked like. And yes, I was highly successful, but it came at a huge cost and toll to me personally, with my family, and ultimately I ignored it long enough that it started to affect the ability for me to take care of my sailors. So if I could go back, I would address these sooner. Now, I'm on anti-anxiety medications and I would never look back. I'm in a much better mental headspace than what I was 5 years ago. It's really the difference of me being here today and not being here. Because I'm telling you, if I didn't get help, I probably wouldn't have made it. Ultimately, it burnt me out, it cost me my peace, it took me years to fix what I had neglected. That doesn't mean that it's all sunshines and rainbows now, that I'm all of a sudden magically cured. I still have depression, I still battle with anxiety, and my fibromyalgia is never going away. And I'm still, guess what, making the same mistake. I'm still not taking care of myself as much as I really should. And my wife, she beats me up every single day about it. So I'm trying to get better at it. For example, I always felt guilty when I missed work. So when I came to shore duty, I started making my mental health appointments VTC. That way, I could break off a minute before the appointment, jump on the computer, and be right back in the game with no delay. Because I knew, if I was honest with myself, I was never gonna walk away from the job for 3 hours. It's just something that I still struggle with mentally as a blocker or an excuse. My advice to you is don't feel guilty. All the hard chargers are the people that care about the job and the people. We feel guilty when we take care of ourselves. It's okay. That's one of the great things about the military is it's back to back, shoulder to shoulder all the time. When you need help, you go get it, and I take care of the workload while you're gone. And then when I need help, you take care of my workload while I'm gone. We take care of each other and we get help. The last thing I'll say about this topic is there's gonna be naysayers who are gonna talk smack if you get mental health or physical help. They're gonna think that you're just making it up, or that you're just taking time, or that you're really exaggerating your symptoms. I've really adopted a mindset that I teach my sailors and I teach people who work for me is if you need help, the people who truly care about you, we want you to go get that help. The people who are just the naysayers, adopt the mentality that I say, fuck them, because they're always gonna talk smack and we don't have time for that. Go get the help you deserve. Don't make the mistake I did and get help early and often. Trust me, your family, you, and your sailors deserve it. Next up is not standing up for myself when things that were happening to me were not acceptable. Again, I learned this super late. I didn't let people walk all over me, but I wasn't an advocate for myself. This really came to a head when I was a senior chief on one of my destroyers and I was working with the department head. This guy, absolutely toxic, absolutely a bully. Enough that I filed a Simeo complaint, substantiated bullying. But you know what happened? The bullying intensified, didn't get better, he got an LOI, and then ultimately, he got promoted. Not the right answer, and it was unfortunate, but guess what? That experience taught me to never be walked on again. What I mean here is if somebody's treating you with anything other than dignity and respect, then you need to make sure they know. Now, if somebody tries to treat me with anything other than dignity and respect, I fix that quick. I shut it down. And it's something that I wasn't confident in doing, even as a young chief or a senior chief. And I know if you're junior to that level, it's even harder. We still have good order and discipline, and you have to be careful how you approach these conversations. But if I could go back to where I was then, I would have shut it down with that person one-on-one in his stateroom week one. I would have made sure he understood, really, who he was dealing with, that I wasn't going to be treated that way. I allowed the behavior to continue on for way too long to try to maintain that professional relationship. And it was always me who was trying to go back and continue to maintain those lifelines. Don't let that happen to you. Seek out help from where you can find it. Unfortunately, where I was at, the commanding officer at the time and my CMC were not the most helpful. But guess what? There was plenty of more resources that I could have went to across many different avenues, and I should have really just cut it out from the legs to begin with by asserting that that behavior wasn't acceptable. So don't make the mistake I did and stand up for yourself. Everybody in the military or outside our organization in the civilian sector deserves dignity and respect. And when people start blurring that line, they need to be shut down quick. All right, the last thing here that I want to talk about is that I made the mistake of not prioritizing or building a healthy work-life balance. In my early 20s, I was, pegged out on that work-life balance meter. I was all work, no life. Yes, I went out in my Liberty ports, I went out and saw the world, I saw some things, but I would go to work at like 05 and then leave at 2200 on a routine all the time basis. And really, as you know, for salary that we are, there will always be work to do. So you have to find a time to leave. And that's really what I teach my leaders today is you should be so good at management that you know when you've earned that right to leave. If there's a sailor of the quarter package on your desk and it needs to be reviewed to ensure your sailor gets that opportunity, you're probably gonna need to burn that midnight oil. Are there 22 more emails in your inbox? It's probably okay if you don't review them. As a CMC today, I would tell you that I leave every day with probably 40 emails in my inbox because I just can't get to all of them throughout the day to ensure that that inbox is at 0. 10 years ago, I would have been the one who stayed late and burned down to all those emails to 0 before I felt okay to leave. Now, I'm okay with those emails waiting till tomorrow. I've got a phone, and if there's an emergency, somebody will call me. I really adopted this mentality as a command senior chief. As a department chief or even a divisional chief, I felt that I always had to stay late if my sailors were working. And this is a good mentality to have. If your sailors are working, you probably shouldn't leave until that's done. That's good leadership. But as a command senior chief or a command master chief, I can't do that all the time. Because guess what? On the ship, there's always going to be a division that's working late. And if I stayed late every time a sailor was, I would never go home. So when we're in port, and now that I'm on shore duty, I adopted this mentality. I even wrote it in the front of my notebook. Leave by 1600. And yeah, there's still some days that I would stay till 1800, but now I have a much healthier work-life balance where I've dialed it back and it's now a 50-50 relationship. Thank God for my wife for sticking with me for 18 years through all that shenanigans for me to learn this lesson because I wasn't taking care of my daughter as well as I should be, and I wasn't taking care of my wife as well as I should have been. And that's the truth. So don't make the same mistake I did and find the work-life balance. The question you have to ask yourself is, have I earned the right to leave today? And how do you know if you have that done or not? Is you have to be really good and meticulous at tracking everything that you have to do. You know my two-part system. I use it all the time, and I track absolutely everything in an Excel file. So I can see it all in one page and see what needs to be triaged, what I might need to stay late for. But normally, there's nothing so critical that you have to burn that midnight oil. And it took me 18 years to learn that lesson. So don't make that mistake. Those are the 3 mistakes that I made in my career that I hope this video helped you understand so you don't fall in the same trap, because I want you to have a better life than I did. That's what this whole channel is about, is making things easier for all of us together. Remember, take care of your physical and mental health, stand up for yourself, and find a healthy work-life balance. You deserve all these things. If this video helped, subscribe and please share this video with a leader who needs to hear it. Trust me, I know they're still out there. I see them every single week. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.